Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and today I'm going to talk about the film John Carpenter's Vampires. This is continuing my series of reviews to review every film that John Carpenter has ever directed. James Woods is the leader and head vampire hunter for the Vatican. He has various vampire hunters with him, but they are unfortunately killed very early on, and he's looking for the master, the big vampire guy who started the vampires in the first place, and he's looking to kill him. Because that guy went and killed all his friends and knows his name, and it's super creepy, so he's trying to find this guy to kill him with Daniel Baldwin and this girl that they have taken with them who was bitten by the vampire, and they know she will be a psychic link, so they can both find him and he can find them. This film is kind of a little bit of a return to form for Carpenter. It's one of his better 90s films. Not that that's saying very much, because, you know, saying this movie's better than Memoirs of an Invisible Man and Village of the Damned isn't like a huge compliment, but I think it was at least conceived a little better. It's a little more Carpenter because it's combining like a cowboy movie with a vampire movie. He based this on kind of Howard Hawksian westerns, especially Red River. And this is more kind of what he does, like Escape from New York, where he combines two very different genres. In this, he takes horror and combines it with an action western movie. Gorgeous cinematography in a few places, where it looks like he's shooting more of a western than a vampire hunter movie. There's action sequences in this, and they look cool, but they keep doing this video fade in and fade out thing. And I know the MPAA asked them to cut down some of the gruesome violence so they wouldn't get an NC-17. I would actually like to see a director's cut. Like, what were those sequences originally like? Because I think if those sequences were in, this film would be a lot stronger. It really is hindering the movie not to see this violence. The opening scene, he establishes all these people really well in a really smart way. And I would have actually liked to see them hunt down all 9 vampires, but like it cuts short and like we see the first 2 and then it's like, oh, they're all gone. The action sequences, they didn't really work because that weird fade in, fade out thing they kept doing, especially at the beginning. They got rid of that, but the end action sequences weren't that incredible. I don't think he has the flair for action he did. He has the concepts behind it. These are the concepts I like from Carpenter, and the ideas that Carpenter usually used worked really well in here, but the execution wasn't really that great, unfortunately. James Woods, who isn't a Carpenter regular, and this is the only time they work together, you know, apparently he can be difficult and stuff, but they worked fairly well together. I think it shows. He was actually a pretty good lead. He's good as a vampire hunter because you really do think he will do anything, and that he's kind of spontaneous, that he's a crazy kind of vampire hunter guy. He sells it really well. He has a great persona for it. Apparently, he would improv a little, but he would always do the take straight as Carpenter wanted. And you can tell the cutting between that, and that actually gives kind of a Hawksian element too. It's very Carpenter. He doesn't truly trust the Vatican. There's a lot of interesting stuff in it, but it is a little silly. The way things are shot and the special effects sometimes. With the vampires, it gets a little silly. I wish he had maybe had a little more money and a little more time and got to really make the movie they shot, you know, rather than this abridged shit. You know, I don't really understand why they never made a director's cut. It's kind of like Carpenter's in the right place. He doesn't succeed. It's not as bad as Escape from LA. Apparently Carpenter was thinking of giving up filmmaking altogether after Escape from LA because it just wasn't very fun, but then they brought him back with vampires, and I think there's a lot more love and a lot more, like, the intelligence and the love of old movies and Howard Hawks is definitely, it's kind of brought back. There's a little resurgence of it you can see in Carpenter's direction, but then it all goes to shit and goes to Mars. But at least for a little bit, it looks like he's on track again. And it was actually kind of a little bit of a hit. I remember when this movie came out and everyone thought it was just dumb, like nobody liked it, but it was #1 at the box office. I think it was one of the biggest Halloween openings ever or something at the time. I remember that. Probably not now, because I think it made like 9 million. The thing with the MPAA, just not having like this pure vision of Carpenter, it's kind of like it's hindered, and it's not amazing, but it's just like he's on the right track. Somewhere he gets lost after this, but I guess I'm not as tough on this as Ghosts of Mars and Escape from LA, because he wasn't trying to be overly goofy and he was trying to do what Carpenter does, like mix genres, take a little bit of this, take a little bit of that. There's some Howard Hawks in here with Red River, there's some Wild Bunch in here, there's, you know, he's not doing the romantic vampire, he's doing this kind of mercenary thing, which is much more accustomed to what he does. As someone who's seen all these Carpenter movies, I think I can appreciate it more, but it's not by any means what I'd say like a really good movie. It's probably just an okay movie, unfortunately. It's just kind of like a director who's lost and kind of finds himself, but he doesn't really. So if you have seen John Carpenter's Vampires and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to. The interesting thing about this movie is I've always thought of this movie as John Carpenter's Vampires. And there's a lot of movies that I've reviewed for this that are John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness or John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness, and I don't think of it that way. And for whatever reason, I always think of this movie as John Carpenter's Vampires. So, I don't know why, that's how I don't know, that's how I think of it. I guess it's just vampires. On Wikipedia it just says vampires, and that's just the stupid title.